But
Man, we're just breaking all of this bullshit.
born this way? You sure? You
Uh-huh.
sure you're born this way? You sure you're born in the wrong body? Are you sure? Are you positive?
Well, hey,
It's
before,
not trauma or something else
Hang
or
on,
a
hang on.
choice?
all right. Now, they're saying it's, they were arguing that it was a gene. And now they're switching to the spiritual side. They're
Born in the wrong body.
born in the wrong body, and you can never disprove that because it's a metaphysical argument.
But what we can prove is this. And again, if you actually have heard of this study, I'll be shocked. Gay gene ruled out. As huge study shows, environment is the major factor in homosexuality.
Correct.
It's a small role. Now, this was conducted with over 30 institutions, including Cambridge and Harvard, looking at the DNA of nearly 500,000 people in Britain and the U.S.
That's about as thorough as you could get.
Yeah. They found that genes are only responsible for between 8 and 25% of the probability of a person being gay, meaning at least 3/4 is down to environment.
And you can come to that conclusion if you ever read the study on the mouse utopia experience.
Yep.
Because towards the end, I think it imploded at 7 generations, but the homosexuality was just going off the hook towards the end of the 4th generation, and it was full swing by the end of the 5th.
There we go. We're in the 3rd generation of people being raised almost exclusively by women, so away we go. Scientists said it worked in a similar way to height, in which genes are partly responsible, but other factors such as nutrition, aka soy, also play a major role, adding or knocking off inches. In this case, environment can mean anything from being exposed to certain conditions in the womb to differences in upbringing or education. Although the research may seem controversial, suggesting that homosexuality is not primarily written in the genes, the scientists say it does not mean that sexuality can be a choice or can be altered. Actually, that's almost exactly what it means.
Yes, it does. Well, I mean,
it can be influenced by the environment, which means that it comes down to trauma, circumstance, and choice. Those are the three
here's
options.
another thing. All right, I'm trying to recall the study. I read it. I don't remember all of the details, but the way they explained it is when a fetus is developing, there are critical windows that if there's too much testosterone or too much estrogen, it messes with the sex organs, the sexual development, and everything for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
And we have in our environment a slew of chemicals that mimic estrogen.
Yep.
And they probably should do a study about those chemicals.
Yeah.
Do they affect these fetuses in utero to the point that it's the equivalent of estrogen?
Yeah. Microplastics, estradiol, which is a chemical excreted from women when they urinate while they're on the pill. It does not get filtered out of the municipal water supply that looks for bacteria and viruses exclusively. So if you want to filter that out of your water, you need the double osmosis, you need the charcoal filter, you need all that stuff. Do not drink tap water, dudes.
Yeah.
Do not do it, and don't let your kids do it.
Well water, man.
Yes. Ugh.
Ah,
And of course, they have to have the ass covering because of exactly what this means. Some people will misunderstand or even deliberately twist our findings. Or just choose not to report on them, as the case would be,
That's
because
what
they knew
happened.
exactly what this actually meant. And the reason why I think they covered it up is pretty simple. Because if this is primarily an environmental cause, conversion therapy is valid. And they can't have people saying that. There are people out there who actively search for it, but they've spent so many decades demonizing it. If this were to get out widely, oh, holy shit.
all right.
Now you're going to have a hard time convincing people that it doesn't work.
Do you have any gay friends?
Yeah.
Okay. Are they living happy, fulfilling lives?
No.
All right. Same here. I know probably half a dozen guys who are flaming Peter Puffers. And, they don't really flaunt it around, but they, that's what they do. And I personally don't care. But every single one of them is miserable.
And on top of all this, it's just like diabetes or any illness, addiction, what have you. There is a cash flow. coming from people buying this shit. They don't want that to go away. Have you been to like the American Diabetes Association website? Or like know anything about that industry? That industry makes $110 billion a year. You want to know what they suggest is the perfect breakfast for a diabetic on their own website? Oatmeal, orange juice, natural honey. Oh, lots of sugar! Increasing insulin dependence, which means that they have to keep going out and buying it. You see how that works?
Yeah.
They're not interested in curing the disease. They're not interested in actually addressing any of these problems that makes 41% of these people off themselves. They just want the cash.
Yeah, the type 2 diabetes runs in my family. And so I read all that shit. I do the keto diet. I cut back on the sugar. I take all the supplements to combat that.
Yep.
And I try to do a minimum of 30 minutes of cardio a day.
Yep.
Usually it's speed walking, and I have people like, calling me a faggot when I walk by, but I don't care.
Well, I've seen you walk. You look like you've had one too many beanbags thrown at your back, pussy. I'm sorry, Lord. I apologize. Be with the pygmies in New Guinea. Amen.
Dude, that's a quality burn. I'm gonna give that a 7.2 out of 10. Sensitive subject. It fit right in. And
no, don't use those words when we're talking about your back pussy. Okay. It fit right in.
Oh my God! It fit right in. There you go.
You a Peter Puffer pup? Just asking for a friend.
Well, when I first came in the Army, the recruiter said that. It's like,
you a Peter Puffer.
You don't like to hit dudes in the ass or suck dick, do you? I'm like, what? He goes, I have to ask everyone that. I'm sorry. I'm like, no, man. Fuck that.
Don't tell, sir.
The look on his face was fucking priceless. I'm like, what? He's like, hey, I just have to ask. You said no, so we're gonna check the
get
block.
you your own shower if that's the case.
No, back then you couldn't come in.
Oh, no pun intended. Okay.
No, when I first came in, if you were gay, you couldn't come in the military.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
Things happen.
Now, I personally was not really cool with that. I mean, if you want to serve your country and you're gay, go right ahead. I don't care.
That's totally
Just
fine.
keep it to yourself. Don't push it on anyone. Show up, do your job.
Yeah, what was so wrong with don't ask, don't
Yeah,
tell?
I mean, I didn't care.
I mean, your proclivity should be a private thing anyway.
Listen.
And if you want to be an exhibitionist, there are groups of people that you can talk to about that shit. You don't have to bring this to children or broadcast it for an entire month in the middle of the year.
I mean, in the regiment, we had two guys in the barracks who were totally gay. And, and listen, I walking around CQ, I hear rumors and stuff. And I pulled these guys aside and go, I don't give a fuck what you do. I just don't want to see it because I'll have to report it.
And if I catch y'all watching each other's back pussies in the shower, it's game on.
It's going to get bad. It's going to get really
Imagine
bad.
walking into the shower and seeing that. I'll be right back. I got to get a hickory stick.
There's some shit you just can't unsee.
Watch Grunt Speak live every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And if you want to join Pop for Supporter Sundays, go to redonkulous.com/donate and make a monthly pledge. A link is in the meat caser box.